in this politically correct environment.
Hold on 1 second.
Awesome.
What are we going after Me Too people for? For me taking you in the back, grabbing your titties, grabbing your pussy, or for you sucking my dick for a movie role, or for something like that. All those things really don't exist in my life.
Right.
I have a wife and I have a child. They don't exist in my life. If you want to come at me for sucking my dick in 2002, we were both doing blow, go ahead, be my guest. Be my guest, but I want to see footage. I can't be I'm Zari and take it and just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are going to get Me Too. Look at this other guy. For years, he was known as a heroin addict. Never got accused of sexual misconduct. And some chick said he molested her when he was 11 years old. And now he's like, you need that. You need that. And the chick's on drugs. She's doing the press conference while she's on drugs. What's his name, brother? The guy that was in Heat, that De Niro put him in a rehab himself. And then he married Heidi Fleiss for a while. Who was with Heidi Fleiss for? Tom, yeah. That guy's been a junkie for 2,000 years. All of a sudden.
Why can't I remember his last name?
Sizemore. All of a sudden, some girl comes up when she's 26, twitching. Yeah, he molested me on a movie set when I was 11. That's great and dandy, dog. But you can't ruin somebody's life now.
But what do you think is happening? This is my question. Like, why are people accepting these situations, like the Chris Hardwick situation, or why is everybody instantly thinking that the guy's guilty? No one giving him a chance.
The benefit of the doubt. No court. No justice court. There's no nothing.
And in some cases, like the worst case was Garrison Keillor. Garrison Keillor is the host of the Lake Wobegon Chronicles, like this radio show on PBS, I think it is. Is that what it is? He apparently hugged a woman, and his hand went down her back. This is the depiction. And he apologized to her, and he sent her an email, and she said, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. It was nothing. And then they continued, I believe, to correspond, and were friends again. And then all the stuff started happening with Al Franken, and then he had this complaint brought up by this woman. She reintroduced it and said that a long time ago he put his hand on my back. And they canceled his show. They took his name off of it. And they did it like really quickly. And it's one of those things where you just go, okay, really? Like the guy in one moment in time touches someone's back. I don't know if it was creepy or not. Let's assume it was a terrible error and it was creepy. I don't think it was. I don't know. I'm not saying I know. But that's it? Just touching someone's back, and that is a hysterical reaction. That is hysteria. It's almost the definition of hysteria. You're not talking about an evil person. Talking about a person who touched someone's back. Like, we got to be real careful with what you destroy a person's whole life with. So on the one side, you have the worst case scenario, which is like a Bill Cosby, who's drugging people and raping people. It's the worst case scenario for these powerful, elite type people that are getting these women into their web and pretending that they're going to help them.
Right.
He's another one.
Which they were all in on it, and everybody knew about it. For years, they knew about it.
It was written into his contract. It was sexual harassment clauses were in his contract, right? Wasn't that?
It was known for years.
Let's make sure we're correct on that. But we read
with Harvey,
that
you know
online
what bothers me about Harvey? Let me tell you what bothers me about Harvey.
What?
We got to indict everybody.
There's a lot of people that have to be indicted, and this is one of the things
That's
that I was
my
getting
feeling.
at.
My feeling right now that this should be a RICO act.
Wow.
This is a RICO act. Agents, managers, Oprah, because everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Okay, but here's the question. How much did they know?
Listen,
did
everybody knew in 2005,
right.
Everybody knew Joe Diaz was a coke fiend.
That's a different thing, though, man.
It's the same. Let's pretend. The same thing.
Okay, but let's...
Joe Diaz is a coke fiend. It's 2007. Joe Diaz comes to a party at your house. There's 2 cell phones missing.
Okay, let me say this, though. Do you think that it's possible that his behavior was shielded from some of the people that he interacted with, like Hillary Clinton or Oprah or Bill Clinton or whoever that was some high-profile people that he interacted with? Is it possible that they didn't know? Is it possible that they just thought he was a pussy hound?
No.
Or do you think they all knew?
They knew he was a pussy hound, and they heard little chitter-chatter, but it's okay. It's
okay. They would just let him...
It's Joey. That's number one.
That's crazy.
Number 2, Jamie, you ready for this?
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, I see Joe, whatever, not now, but 25 years ago. I see Joe, and the first thing I have to go is, Joe, before you leave, don't forget I got to tell you a story. What was that story going to be about? About Benson Henderson's choke? About a joke that somebody said at the store? No. About a place I went to. And some chick took me in the back and sucked my dick under the car, and then she stuck a finger in my ass, and that's what we talked about. So, if that's what we talked about, you're going to look me in the fucking face like a man that you are and the men that you've been around and tell me Harvey Weinstein never turned to Brad or his other buddies and said, "Psst, remind me to tell you a story about that dirty fucking animal."
For sure.
Okay, then.
For sure. But that's actually that's been admitted. I think they've had conversations.
Oh
about
my
that.
God! If you don't think the wig, Ben Affleck, and the other guy, and I'm not offending nobody. I'm just talking boys. We're boys, right? You and I are boys.
Yeah.
What you won't say to Jamie, you'll say to me because you watch Blind Date.
No, I've never watched
There's
it.
a movie, Blind Date. There's a movie,
Some
Blind.
firecrackers are going off in the room.
There's a movie named Blind Date with Bruce Willis.
Oh, I remember that movie.
And Kim Basinger, hilarious. Kim Basinger steals the show when she walks in, the Japanese lady. She's like, you're entitled to 50% of your husband's assets in California. And the Chinese woman kept saying, "Me no speak English. Me no speak English." And I was like, you're entitled 50%. And she opens up the door, 50%, 50%. That movie's a great movie. But there's a scene in the opening of that movie. Both of those actors are around, where the guy comes up to him and he goes, "You're not going to believe what happened last night." And Bruce Willis goes, "Here we go. One of these fucking sex stories again." And he goes, "So I'm at Spargo's. I have for dinner. I walk out and some lady pulls up in a limo. And I say, I've never been in a limo." And she goes, "We'll get in." And we're riding down Sunset, hard times in the summer. And next thing you know, she's sucking my dick. She's got leotards on. I'm eating her ass. And he's telling the story. And Bruce Willis looks at him and he goes, No. Why does this always happen to you? This is some other bullshit." He goes, "Da, da, 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 da." And he goes in his pocket and he starts whipping out Polaroids. I've always known one of those guys in my life.
Of course.
We've all known one guy in my life.
But there's a difference between that guy and what Harvey
I do
Weinstein's
not
been
believe
accused
it.
of.
I know that. But I also believe that Harvey Weinstein was telling people.
He probably was.
Because, listen, for
But what
everybody
was he
who told...
telling him? Was he telling him that he was holding people down?
What do they usually tell him?
Was he telling him he was raping people?
She's a piece of ass. No, not at all.
Do you think that he did? Well, I
Yeah,
don't even want to ask
she's a
you.
piece of ass. She's a piece of ass. You got to see her suck a dick.
Right.
She'll do anything. She's an animal. Well, that's what we do as men. We're braggadocio.
So do you
We're
think that there
stupid.
was like a community of that where actors and actresses...
I think he had 4 or 5 guys that knew what he was doing. I want you to remember being 27 and having 4 of your boys that would come back every Monday with a different story to karate school.
Yeah.
I ate her ass. I fucked her on fire. Whatever the fuck it is that you do. He told somebody. Somebody knew about all these stories. Some agents knew. Somebody, because for the 100 of them that said no and whatever, there had to be 25. He was playing the percentages, Joe.
Well, definitely. A lot of people said yes.
They blamed that one girl. That one girl that did Rounders. They accused her.
Yeah, I'd heard that.
That played Matt Damon's girlfriend. She went from being an extra in fucking Donnie Brasco to being a guest star opposite fucking... Yeah, if you watch Donnie Brasco, she's, what's his name, Sonny Black's girlfriend. You know how many lines she has in that movie?
0.
0.
Smart move.
And then a year later, she's a fucking guest opposite. So
Yeah,
there's
it's
a
one
bunch
of
of them
those
that
things.
said yes.
Do you fault the girl for doing that? Like if a girl decides to fuck Harvey Weinstein on her own free will.
Joe Rogan, we come here with a dream. And there's 2 ways to enhance that dream. There's either, I always knew that I wasn't good looking, I always knew I was fat, and I always knew I was R-rated and hard to listen to. But I always knew that I was funny, so I always worked on being funny. I didn't think somebody was going to let me suck their dick or eat their pussy to be a star. So that was never in my mind. But think about people who, how many people have you met that would sell their soul in this town? How many people have come and gone in front of you The reason why our friendship is still intact is because you know I'm a hard worker. You know Harvey's a hard worker. You respect hard work. How many times have you pulled me aside and said, look at this fucking clown? And you're not trying to be judgmental. You just know that he's pulling the wool over somebody's eyes. We know who's talking the talk, and we know who's walking the walk. We see it on stage. We hear about it. We don't need Twitter or Facebook. We hear about it. We get to that club. The club owner will tell you, Joey was here 2 weeks ago. He was falling asleep on stage. You know, you hear shit.
Right.
So it's the same thing.